Military wife home alone. So my husband, Ted, is in the military. We have generally lived on base every station we have been to because the surrounding towns can be very crime ridden and sketchy, and with my husband gone most of the time, the extra security is appreciated. I work from home due to us moving so often. So one afternoon I was taking a break, had made a bite to eat, and was snuggling up on my couch with my dog. That's when I heard the sliding glass door open. It was so nonchalant I thought it was Ted. I saw my cat run from the kitchen and a shadow standing near the door entering it. I thought maybe he'd come back for something, so I called out for him and was like, "What are you doing home? Did you forget something?" No answer. This is where I got an eerie feeling. After I asked what he was doing here, I saw the shadow move and heard the click of the sliding door lock. From there, he walked to the laundry room and shut the door. I still had received no response. So I'm sitting on the couch, scared out of my mind, and I call my husband, hoping to hear his phone in the laundry room. I don't hear a ring, but he answers. I asked him why he came home, and he didn't answer me, and all he says is, "That wasn't me. Grab the dog and get in your car." I freak. After getting off the phone with Ted, I grab the dog and run to my car. From there, I call the military police. Waiting for them was probably the longest 20 minutes of my life. When they got there, they cleared the house and found no one. They asked me to make a statement, and even they were baffled that someone would try this on a base. We still live here. I am so scared he will come back. Did Vince Vaughn save my life? I'm terrible at writing, so bear with me. I'm a lurker here and I love a lot of the stories. I've thought about posting mine, so I'm chilling with a glass of wine and decided to share. Hope you don't mind. I work as a theater nurse and I lived in an affluent neighborhood in a city in Scotland. The flat I lived in was a tenement on the first floor, so I was pretty high up, so I felt pretty safe in it. About 6 years ago, I had the shift from hell. Theater overran. The patient was very ill. Just one of those days. So I arrived home at about 8 p.m. My shift finishes at 6 usually. I was a smoker back then, so I made some dinner and I didn't clear up as I was so tired. Had a cigarette and decided to watch a film on my laptop in bed. I decided to watch The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and turn the lights off, hoping I'd just fall asleep or relax. Halfway through the film, I thought I heard a noise in the kitchen, so I turned the volume down and I couldn't hear anything. I turned the volume back up and continued watching the film. I did feel uneasy, but thought that there's no way someone can climb up the drain pipe into the flat, so it's the wind. Anyone that's watched a film with Vince Vaughn in it knows he's pretty loud and shouty. I get out of bed for a smoke and notice that the kitchen window is up higher than I could push it, and my handbags are missing, that I'd left draped over one of the chairs. I turned around and one of my large kitchen knives was sitting at the edge of the counter. Well, I obviously crapped myself and ran out the front door and just stood in the corridor. After that flight had gone, I knew whoever had been in the flat wasn't in the kitchen, bedroom, or bathroom, as I could see when I opened the front door into the bathroom. I calmed down and checked out the living room, and it was clear. I'm not scared at this point. I know whoever was in the flat is gone. I head back into the bedroom and Google on my laptop my banks to cancel my cards and called them all. I then called the local police station and told them what happened. She wasn't happy that I didn't call 999, and within 5 minutes I had 4 police cars and police dogs looking for this guy. One police officer was going through the flat with me, and we looked at the window and I could see a spot of blood. I said to him, "That's not my blood. Whoever was in here, that's his." He argued with me, saying it wasn't. I said I've spent the last 12 hours looking at blood and it's definitely it. The officer takes my statement and gets a call that the guy has broken into another flat whilst the police are everywhere. This guy's got some balls. Forensics came out the next day and said that there has been so many break-ins that the sample would go under a certain operation they were carrying out. I received a citation for court a few weeks later. I had no idea why. I didn't see him, I only knew it wasn't my blood. I got a call not to go the night before, so thankfully I didn't have to go to court. I don't know how long he got in prison, but I couldn't stay in the flat after that. I loved that flat. Makes me more angry. So, since that asshole had picked up one of my knives, and if I hadn't been watching a film that could have been interpreted as having a guy in the flat, what would he have done? It's something I thought about for a long time. Asshole that broke into my flat, let's not meet. And Vince Vaughn, you possibly saved my life.
Creepy guy followed me and my sister home.
This isn't very scary, but it sure was traumatizing when it happened. It happened when I was 12, my younger sister being about 9 or 10. We had gone out to the store for supper. It wasn't a particularly rough neighborhood, so our parents trusted me to take my sister out. The store was in a pretty open area with benches and trees. We took a seat and I pulled my phone out to show my sister something. I noticed the strange-looking man sat opposite us. He was wearing a brownish leather jacket, had a pair of small glasses, and was going bald. Probably in his late 40s or early 50s. It was prominent that he was glancing over at us. I assumed he was just looking at my phone, but it was making me very uncomfortable. I put my phone away and told my sister we should go in before the store closes. I grab her hand and we walk over. When we were inside, I noticed the man had come over to the outside of the window and was smoking a cigarette. He wasn't looking at us anymore, but I could tell he was waiting for us to come outside. I paid for our items and we left, trying to ignore the man. I don't think my sister knew he was staring at us, but it was obvious to her when he started to follow us down the sidewalk. I told her to be quiet and just ignore him. We walked for about 30 seconds. We thought maybe the man was just heading the same way as us, so we stopped to see what he would do. Funnily enough, he stopped too. He was acting like he didn't know where he was going. My sister was getting scared, so we started walking as fast as possible to get away from this guy. He started following us again, but this time with a much faster pace. We were getting really freaked out at this point, so we crossed over the road. The guy crossed over too, so we crossed again. I can't remember how many times we crossed to get away from him, but every time we did, he would just follow us. We got to the end of our street. The guy was still following us. My sister suggested going through the graveyard because we can take an alleyway that would lead us right outside our house. I wasn't taking any chances. I didn't want this guy to try anything funny, so I told her that was a bad idea. We started walking up our street. The guy was still creeping behind us. I told my sister to start running to the house. It was really close at this point. We both ran across the road. Of course, the guy did the same thing. I took my sister's hand and we broke into a sprint. The guy didn't run after us, but he started walking a lot faster. We made it to outside our house and started banging on the front door. I saw that the guy was lurking just across the road. Our dad came and let us in, and we told him about everything that had happened. He didn't think much of it and assumed we were lying. He checked outside to see if anyone was there, but apparently he saw nobody. We never saw the man again, but I was very paranoid that he knew where we lived.